when I get nice introductions like that, I just only have one regret. I wish my mother was here to hear that. I might have Penny come over tonight to my mom's house and do it again. So, thanks to Penny, thanks to Kelly Borgia and everyone at Neighborhood Legal Services for putting this great public service video together. Great advocates in the community also, Vanita McCullough and Tara Lee, and of course the Sisters of Mercy. The sisters have a great impact on my life as they educated me as a young man and provided me with speech services that allowed me into kindergarten. So thank you, sisters. I'm not sure where we'd be without your influence over the centuries. So one of the most important functions of government is providing a safety net to those in need. And we do this a variety of different ways. We have many programs out there that you're all familiar with to help people in their everyday needs. And I'm familiar with a lot of these programs through my former work. I was operating in the safety net to make sure it worked. Before becoming elected, I did work with Push Buffalo, where we tried to create a sustainable and high-quality housing for people who are living in poverty or the working poor. I worked with the Learning Disabilities Association, where we fought for the rights of children who are disabled to make sure that they had the same opportunity and the same educational program as their non-disabled peers. And of course, I started my professional life at Neighborhood Legal Services, doing homelessness prevention and working with victims of housing discrimination. Now, homelessness prevention sounds a lot nicer and a lot sexier than saying I worked in landlord-tenant court to make sure poor people weren't evicted. Some reason society likes the words homelessness prevention, but they really don't like it as much when you say, yeah, I go to housing court every day and make sure that poor people who can't pay their rent don't get kicked out. So here in New York State, we have a very good safety net, and we have the safety net that we should be proud of. We often surpass the federal requirements for assistance, and that's a very good thing. Whether it's child care, food and nutritional needs, legal assistance, rental assistance, utility assistance, Medicaid, Medicare, there's funding available for just about every social ill that you may have. But very often, this assistance and these benefits are underutilized simply because people in the community who are eligible don't know about these programs. So we all know the story of the SNAP program, formerly known as food stamps. It's designed not just for really poor people, it's designed for struggling, working people. And even though right now there's more people on SNAP than ever, it's still not being fully utilized. So that means there are families out there who are being further stressed and further stretched trying to make ends meet every week and every month because they don't know that they could be eligible for SNAP assistance. So there's other numerous programs that exist on the state and local levels that people also don't take advantage of. It'd be hard to talk about the benefits, the good things about all these programs without sort of acknowledging that everyone's not a fan of these programs. I think we should be fans of them, and as advocates and providers, we should be full and loud-throated supporters of these programs, and we should tell the people in the community the good work that we do and the impact that it has on people's lives. So as much as we hear people, if you ever have the misfortune of listening to AM radio, you'll hear about all the ills of public assistance, of all the ills of food stamps. Recently there was a bill introduced, seemed to say that the biggest problem we have in New York State is that people with benefits card buy cigarettes or alcohol. Well, maybe that's not the wisest choice, but we always hear about these extreme examples, and the answer always is to throw the baby right out with the bathwater. So everybody wants to get to the end of the bell curve. But there's also subsidy programs that people don't talk about. Another subsidy system in New York State that some reason doesn't rise up to the AM radio concern or the Newt Gingrich's of the world's concerns. And that's the subsidies we give the private sector. So we have a very, very rich subsidy system here in New York State. And that's a subsidy system that goes to private corporations that are often held unaccountable, that are not expected to return living wage jobs to our community, and are not expected to return jobs that they promise. you may see, there was a recent report by the authority's budget office. They looked at just Erie County. They took the 6 IDAs, industrial development agencies, and they said, what did you do in 2008? We're going to do a 5-year review on that. Those 6 industrial development agencies, which spent millions of dollars, said they're going to create upwards of 150 jobs. So we did a 5-year snapshot, went back. Those 6 industrial development agencies, 5 years later, they created 13 jobs at the cost of millions of dollars. Whose dollars did they spend? They spent our dollars. Where could that dollars went if they weren't wasted to give to private corporations? They could have went to help the agencies that you work for. You all have needs, you all have budget shortfalls, but we have to fix the private subsidy system before we expect any of these programs to work better. So when people talk about problems with the subsidy system, I switch gears all the time and I say, I understand what you're talking about. It's the private subsidy system. That's the problem. But we don't have a problem with jobs in Western New York. Our unemployment rate isn't out of whack with everyone else. Where we have a problem is with good paying jobs. So we have a very high number of people in Western New York working 1, 2, sometimes 3 jobs that are still eligible for governmental benefits and public assistance. And you think about Harry Truman talking about the square deal. And the square deal was, if you go work 40 hours a week, you're going to get a roof over your head, you're going to provide for your family, and you're going to have a little luxury on the side. But what we've been creating lately are jobs that actually the taxpayers pay for twice. Once, we pay for the subsidy to the corporation that then creates low-paying jobs that we pay the second time